4:28 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, October 30th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So, you cannot make this up. Every single month, when we get right to where the escrow dump is about to happen, we just so happen to get a bullish catalyst that can artificially bring the price up by virtue or by manipulation. But on the onset, most would say, well, that's what drove the price up temporarily, and then everybody realized yada yada yada, and then it brings it back down. It's every single time we come to the escrow dump. So today it's no surprise. It's a little surprising in what has been said, but it's no surprise if you actually look at the foundation of what's being laid, not just by Ripple or the US. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. I'm just gonna let everybody get here for a sec. UK Phil, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months, along with Mark Caston with the XRP Predictor. I appreciate that. Martin McGregor, welcome in. Biotech MX, good evening. What's my stance on how crypto prices are going to develop? We'll talk about that as we go, my friend. I promise, Biotech. Syrian, good evening. I got a lot to talk about, though. Thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meter, and also being a very, very trusted mod here. I greatly appreciate that so much. John Bugethorpe, welcome in. Good afternoon to you as well, my friend. Listen, we're gonna talk here because yes, even if XRP dumps down, I fully anticipate a push up as we go into the escrow dump. I talk about this every single month, and what's developing right now, and I don't know how many of my audience have heard this, but what's developing right now is that the US court is ordering Ripple and the SEC to consider an alternative resolution. And as we read through this and we understand what's going on, and I'll read this first so that we can understand a prognosis of what's going on, but then we'll go through some of the channels with Ripple when we get into their official X accounts, and you guys know exactly who I'm going to go to. We're going to go to Stuart Alderodi. We'll go to the bigger players. Well, he doesn't have anything, but we'll go to some of them and see what they're talking about here. But this is going to be a very interesting time here. A very, very interesting time. Jorge, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 2nd month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. I greatly appreciate that. So, if you are watching, please, I beg of you, hit that like button. My earlier update did not even get 100 likes. So, please hit that like button so that we can push this content. Otherwise, no one's going to know what I'm talking about. It's the truth. If you appreciate what I do, hit that like button. It means so much to me. I want so many people to see my content, but YouTube does do a very nice job of shadow banning, and the only way to push through that is if I get the help from my audience. Lee, welcome in. Been here for going on almost 4 years now. Yes, it's getting, it'll be 4 years in March. It's craziness. Time goes so fast. But consider this, everybody, and let's get serious. Forget all the outside noise. Forget a lot of the other stuff. William, welcome in. George, good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for 6+ months with the XP Predictor. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. It's so obvious now what's going on. Dark Rider, good evening. Do you think Ripple will buy our... I don't know. There's swirling speculation that it might be more likely than not. Which it's actually surprising to me that it might. But the way it's going, probably. I've told you many times, nobody wants to listen to me. This is all theater. Ripple and the United States Treasury has had a... Yes, I've said this for a very long time. I agree with you on that. Noah, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Massey, Floki, welcome in. Floki, we're going to get into what's happening. Trust me. I'm just doing my due diligence, saying hi to everybody, and then everybody will be here that wants to be here. If they don't want to be here, they don't need to be here. Rick, good evening, and thanks for being a very trusted mod, my friend. I can't thank you enough. Can't thank you enough. Theatrics is the word that everybody needs to think about as I finish saying hi to everybody. Theatrics. Ryan, welcome in. Damon, good evening. Rob Hokulik, welcome in, my good friend. I really appreciate seeing you in here. And thank you for being in Tom's Army for over a year with the I Told You So badge. So a lot of you are going to ask, what exactly is going on? What is going on is the U.S. courts has ordered, or at least requested, or made them consider Ripple and the United States Securities and Exchange Commission to consider another resolution outside of a mandate from the court with what both sides are trying to appeal right now. They want some kind of resolution to take place outside. So we're going to get into that very quickly, but I'm going to tell you right now, the way this lined up and with the way we have the escrow drop coming, this is super bullish for the short term. Super bullish. And I'm no dummy. And like, I don't know, I told everybody, I'm trying to find a spot before the escrow dump to put in a position. And this is a leverage position. And just because of the news that came out, because I see how they're building this, I'm going to do something. And I'm okay. My risk reward, this is not part of my my normal trading fund. So my risk reward in this regard is just don't be an idiot. That kind of thing. So because of everything I've heard, and let it bite me in the ass, it's fine, I don't care. I am taking out a $500, and I don't encourage any of you, because I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm probably going to lose all my money right now. Well, not all my money, but all the money in my trade. So I'm taking out a $500. You know what? Let's spice it up a little bit. Let's do an 11x trade. Let's spice it up a bit. An 11x trade, a $501.99 trade, 10,532 XRP. Confirm. Let's see if it comes and gets me. Come and get me. What, it doesn't want to come get me? Anyhow, we'll come back to this. But with what's lining up right now, I can see what it, sometimes it irritates me, only because I can see how, if you're not following this every single day and you don't see every single factor, and that looks like a nice inverse head and shoulders form there. So let me just do this. I just have to do this. Let me just get this to fill. Let's see. Hopefully everybody will be here that wants to be here. I'm trying to kill time because I have a lot of stuff that I need to talk about, and I think it's going to catch some of you off guard. I mean, I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. All right, so it filled. I'm not worried about putting the stop loss in because obviously I'm looking at the screen. So that's what I did. 5242, I think it said. So anyhow, Trigger One, welcome in. Was that a $2 donation? Wow, that's unbelievable. So with XRP right now, we know we have the monthly escrow dump coming. We know we have the monthly escrow dump coming. So what happens is that's on the 1st. We get 1 billion pushed back into circulation, and generally 800 million gets locked back up. Shane, thank you so much for the $2 donation. He says XRP family will be rewarded. Just hold. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So we know what happens Friday, and every single month I feel like I am a broken record. I talk about this exact same scenario. We're getting ready. They're probably going to pump the price up artificially, and then after the escrow dumps, it'll come right back down to where it was at. So now it had to push up. Now we're creating a little formation here. We'll see if it carries through, but for me, I look for a catalyst. I look for a catalyst. So now what I look at, what do you mean long or short? Oh, this is just this was just my own personal gambling right now. So don't even listen to what I was saying. I was just talking to myself. This was a long. This was a long just going into the XRP escrow dump. Because we usually get some kind of pump going in. But with the news that's coming out, just hear me out, everybody. Just hear me out. Let's go into the news before we get into the charts anymore. Let's go into the news. So, oh, I seen somebody say Townspeak Senior is, hey, Dad. I didn't even see that. I seen somebody mention your name. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. See, I'm getting some ringing endorsements. But just what's happening right now with the U.S. courts, they don't want to go any further with Ripple and the SEC. Or with Ripple versus SEC. They don't want to go any further than the ruling that the judges have already put in. So they're advising them to come up with an alternate resolution. So we know that we get the escrow dump every single month on the 1st, on routine, and we know what ends up happening. Every single month we do the same thing. We make a trade for XRP every single month, and what ends up happening. And no, not every single month does it play out the way you expect it, but it always ends up playing out to where they get the maximum output for when they put the XRP back on the market. And then what ends up happening, they end up having to buy back 800 million out of those 1 billion, and then they lock those back into escrow until when? Most of us don't know, but when is it? December of 2027. So what's going to happen in December of 2027 with all of these stacked up in the escrow? Are they going to come up with another plan? I mean, that's what I would love to know. But that's what happens every single month. So like the last 6 months, I've done the same thing right before the escrow dump. Now we're within the 48-hour window. It's a little bit less than that. So I do the same thing every single month. I wait for a catalyst, and lo and behold, look what just came out today. So XRP lawsuit, U.S. court orders Ripple to consider alternative resolution. So, yeah, see? We don't often see my dad in the audience. Isn't that nice? Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it. I do. So, but just pay attention, everybody. The alternative, so the XRP lawsuit, U.S. court orders Ripple to consider alternative resolution. XRP lawsuit, U.S. court orders Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse and other parties to consider alternative resolutions of case before proceedings. I don't want to read through the highlights because then everybody's just going to leave. So we're going to go through this step by step. So the XRP lawsuit and the latest development in Ripple Labs Inc. litigation. And remember, with the lawsuit, it cannot be changed from not being a security. XRP, the law of the land, is it can never be ruled a security. They can't even go in and change that. That was one of the amendments as we read through the 57-page official documents last year. So the only thing that's being considered right now, if it's even being considered, because the courts don't even seem like they want to even entertain this, is the fine that's been levied against Ripple for selling an unregistered security. So basically they're fine. It's a fine to Brad Garlinghouse, Chris Lar, and it's just the fine. And right now it's 125 million or whatever the hell they decided. And right now the SEC wants more, but we all know the SEC and Ripple have been partners for a very long time. I don't understand how it's so hard to understand. So let's just read this. XRP lawsuit in the latest development in the Ripple Labs Inc. litigation. Defendant CEO Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple Labs, XRP2 LLC have requested the court to issue final judgment on plaintiff class action claims and a stay on individual state law claim until resolution. The court has issued an order asking the parties that consider an alternative resolution. So the judge asked Ripple and plaintiffs to reconsider an XRP lawsuit. So I think this is basically, we're about to get to the most important part of this entire thing. So in the latest court filing in Ripple Labs Inc. litigation, Judge Phyllis Hamilton affirmed the parties about their joint motion to seek final judgment and stay in the XRP lawsuit. However, the judge ordered that the parties need to consider an alternative resolution of filing a voluntary dismissal without prejudice of the remaining individual claim. Notably, the claim is subjected to refiling after the resolution of the appeal on the class claims of security laws violation by Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and XRP2 LLC. If the parties are amendable to this alternative resolution, the court requests that they file an amended proposed order, and if the parties are not amendable, The court requests that they file a notice to that effect by November 4th, 2024, the court ordered. So lead plaintiff Bradley Sostak and Ripple Labs XRP2 and Brad Garlinghouse requested the court to issue final judgment on plaintiff's class action claims on securities laws violation. Also, a stay order on further proceedings related to state securities law violation claims until resolution of class action claims. The settlement conference to settle the XRP lawsuit was successful. Individual plaintiffs intend to appeal this court summary judgment after resolving the class claims. If you're trying to get out ahead of this and buy XRP worldwide, and you don't want to do the VPN or the KYC bullshit, because I certainly don't, look in the video description below, and hell, even in the pinned comments below, I made it very easy for everybody. Don't pay the exorbitant fees like Uphold or like BLOFIN and some of the other ones that we've come across now that we're like, well, what the hell is going on? So, on BITUNIX, they don't only have XRP. They've got Algo, they've got IOTA, which is almost impossible right now to try to find in the USA. And they have IOTX, which we all know, on Motivated Mondays, Winning Wednesdays, FOMO Fridays. And now, we talked about calling Tuesdays like Tasty Tuesdays, but it almost sounds better to be Tempest Tuesdays. I don't know. But they have that on BITUNIX. And then on HOTCOIN, we're looking at VELO on the Stellar Network. So they have VELO, they have XRP, they have the XRP Bitcoin pairing. So make sure to have the right exchanges and click on the links in the video description below and sign up. Get it set up before everything goes in motion. Get it set up before you even want to buy. Get your funds set up in place. It's that simple. I think Tempting Tuesday is not bad either. I seen somebody say it, because it is a very tempting day. It is. It really is. But I'm telling you, this is all setting up. And what have I said with Bitcoin, with the megaphone pattern, huge cup and handle? We'll go into the charts after this. There's so many reasons why we should not be bearish like everybody wants you to feel. There's ways to go down in a bearish tug. But overall, in the short term, leading into the election, leading into what's going on, there's just so many reasons to be optimistic. So let me read this. I always go off track. The settlement conference to settle the XRP lawsuit was unsuccessful. Individual plaintiffs intend to appeal this court summary judgment order resolving the class. Wait a minute. Let me read this again. So lead plaintiff Bradley Sostak and Ripple Labs XRP2 and Brad Garlinghouse requested the court to issue final judgment on plaintiffs' class action claims on securities law violations. Also a stay order on further proceedings related to state securities law violation claims until resolution of class action claims. So let's see this. The settlement conference to settle the XRP lawsuit was unsuccessful. Individual plaintiffs intend to appeal this court's summary judgment order resolving the class claims. Whereas the class claims, Brian, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your second month with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Temptation Tuesdays, I like that. I like Temptation Tuesdays. So Motivated Mondays, and we had Motivated Mondays, or no, we had Winning Wednesdays and FOMO Fridays last year. But we'll get into this in a minute. We got to finish this. So whereas the class claims put at issue all XRP purchases over... We got to read this again. I need to let this sink in and shut the hell up. Let me just shut up for a minute. The settlement conference to settle the XRP lawsuit was unsuccessful. Individual plaintiffs intend to appeal this court summary judgment judgment order resolving the class claims. Whereas the class claims put at issue all XRP purchases over a 6-year period. The individual claim concerns purchase by a single buyer in January of 2018. Pre-trial conference is set for December 19th, and jury selection and jury trial are scheduled for January 21st. Recently, Judge Hamilton granted orders on 4 motions and Ripple lawsuit under the Daubert rule pending before the court. It came as a win for plaintiffs as the court ruled mostly in favor of requests by plaintiffs. So the Ripple SEC case also set for appeals hearing. So much stuff is going on. We get some bullish news. What do you mean this is all bullish? It's all bullish for one reason. It's all bullshit. Can't everybody see how bullshit this is? Like, how much more nonsense do you have to read before you realize they're trying to pull the wool over your eyes? How much more time do you have to let pass before you really think that something bad is going to come from this. Like, if you couldn't tell that they're stalling until we go to the digital era in the USA, do I need to slap everybody with a brick? I don't know what I need to do to wake everybody up. Like, precious metals are running away from all of you. Gold and silver, commodity, everything's running away. The opportunity to stack, it's running away. But they're waiting for the quantum financial system. You better believe it. Well, Jack, I might be doing all of us a favor if I hit each of us with a brick, to be honest with you. You know, look how long this takes. But with repetition and understanding comes a lot of money. It's just that simple. You know, like, it would have took me, when I used to bury cable lines, you know how long it would have took me to make $500 or $1,000? And then sometimes we make these trades and you make it in a day or two. You know, like, you're talking $25 a job. It would have took me 40 jobs just to make $1,000. Like, at a half hour to an hour a job, and this is just working by yourself. This isn't when you get the machinery. But anyhow, like I said, let me shut the hell up. See, I keep getting in my own way today. Ripple versus SEC lawsuit set to proceed in the U.S. Second Circuit Court of Appeal as both parties filed Form C. Surprisingly, the agency has reinstated securities law violation charges against Ripple executives Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. Meanwhile, Ripple Labs executives Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson hired key attorneys in the appeals court to dismiss claims in the XRP lawsuit. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission has requested the Second Circuit Court to set January 15, 2025 as the deadline for its principal brief regarding the appeals. At a certain point, I think some people are starting to realize, you see when they put the news out, they pull the wool out of you right before what happens. You scare everybody right before the artificial rise up. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to make people less likely to buy XRP in this exact moment? Just ask yourself that question. If they're telling you to look away, what should you probably be doing? If they're telling you to run scared from the asset because now there's even more shit popping up, what do you do? Excuse my French. Maybe you should look a little bit deeper into that asset, at least for this exact moment. Because we know they need to artificially raise the price before the escrow dump. Right before, even if right now they just got to raise it up, just so they get it doesn't need to be back to 60. It just needs to have some positive momentum with a few buyers, or at least with the artificial trading bots turned off. And then they can get it back at a cheaper price after. They'll just turn the bots back on. But hey, you know, it is what it is. XRP price continues to trade near 52-cent level this week. Despite overall bullish market conditions, the price is currently trading at 52.4 cents, down 17% this month. Notably, the major buying activity is witnessed in derivatives markets as open interest continues to hit higher. So, you know, a lot of moving parts here. XRP's up a tiny bit since we started this live. Bitcoin, oh, I mean, who would have guessed that it would flip bullish here all of a sudden? I don't know. I don't know who was talking about that when we first started. Gold. Who would have thought? Who would have funked gold? Getting up to 2,800, hitting a new record high today. Has anybody been paying attention to B2 Gold when we bought it at $2.38? Has anybody been paying attention to Fortuna Silver Mines? Has anybody been paying attention to First Majestic from $4.62? Like, there's so many opportunities in this market. Okay, I acknowledge one thing we have to pay attention to is the United States digital tether dominance, the market cap. Because we know if it pumps, crypto dumps. If this dumps, crypto pumps. At least has a chance. Oh, this looks fantastic. Actually, this looks good. All we need to do is take out this low right here at about the 4.98%, and we should be running course back down. This is where we had the pattern. It should come right back down to our support. As long as it doesn't... Oh, wow. Yeah, because it broke back through. That's absolutely correct. This was an artificial support structure, and it came back through, so it's absolutely true. And then it came back up, and it actually came through again. So now it's created what we could call a bear flag here if it plays true, and that should bring us all the way down. Let's put a price label real quick. But I don't even have time to talk about the USD dominance. If I talk about all the stuff I want to talk about, I'm going to be here for 17 hours, and God knows after an hour, my head's going to explode. So, let's see. I don't even know how many people are watching. 112, I'll be damned. Is there really 112 people in here today? Wow. With the bearish market, that's a lot of people. Thank you so much. But make sure to hit the like button. Oh, 40 of you have not hit that like button approximately. Imagine how many people, if you hit that like button, how many people YouTube would drive in here. So let's take a look at XRP and see exactly what we need to do here. Exactly what we need to do. Ooh, that's pushing into a bullish reversal here in this, what time frame is this? In the 2 hourly, that's a bullish reversal here. That's a bullish reversal here. That's what you would consider, I don't want to call it a long leg doji, but I think it's about a long leg. It's not a dragonfly, it's too high. So a dragonfly would be like, if you ever look at a cross, pull the top of the cross up just a little. Here, let's go through the chart. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, perfect. I see two perfect examples of what everything is. So right here, where's this at? Where was it? Because you got to be careful. Like, these are inverted hammers, not actually gravestone dojis. That's a reversal. That's a long leg doji. Right here. This right here is a gravestone doji. This is an inverted hammer, but this is a gravestone. So that's a trick candle. So that's a bearish candle. These both are more like dragonfly dojis. These are actually bullish. This inverted hammer is telling you we're still bullish, but it is very dependent on the candles following it. Even though this was a bearish candle, these are both technically more set up as hammer candles, and then an inverted hammer, which shows a bullish proposition. Even though these came down again, these are still more hammer-like candles. This was a little bit of a, this was tough because this was in between like a gravestone and also being like just a long leg, but still showed it was more defiant. It's always dependent on the ones after. So if you start learning what the candles are, like the doji, the gravestone, the dragonfly, I mean, and then you got like the morning stars and all these other ones. But once you start learning the basics, the hammers, the inverted hammers, but just understanding the dojis and then understanding the formations, it becomes so much easier to trade, ladies and gentlemen. Like when I was talking earlier, remember in my update this morning, if anybody's seen it, I talked about how as long as we hold 5162 this morning, we're fine. That's absolutely fine because this pattern that it's set up in is bullish. That's a bullish consolidation right now, unless it breaks down and comes back to 49. But unless it breaks down, this is, in my opinion, it's still a bullish consolidation. We have a bullish cross in the 2 hourly that should bring us at least back up to retest the resistance at 52.69. But ultimately, we have a technical move up that should get us up to like 54, 53. And like, just listen, before we overanalyze, look at Bitcoin. The only reason we knew Bitcoin was bullish and not bearish is because we've had this set up for fucking 6 months. We know what's going on. We have a cup and handle. We have a megaphone pattern, which is what I've had set up here on the outside of this handle. Let me get my arrow out just so everybody can see. Some people are like, well, I don't know what the hell a megaphone, what am I looking, I don't know what a cup and handle is. What am I looking at? So let me get my arrow out. So this is a cup. This is the handle. But as it did it, it formed a megaphone. That's a very bullish consolidation. It's a descending consolidation, but it's considered a megaphone. You know, you're talking to a fucking megaphone. You know what a megaphone is. But that's considered a megaphone pattern. And I think some people think I'm making up things, but that is what it is. So then if we end up having our targets, now that we've established what everything is. So now the first target, 73,697, is just the all-time highs. We've tapped that once, right? But our technical target, short target out of this megaphone, and you have to define it in two separate ways, and I always do this so I don't get caught with my pants down. Shorter part of it, I measure the width, put it out at the break point, and that gives us 78,609. So now we know we have to get above 73,697 and trade accordingly. Make some fucking money if you can. You know, don't wait for me to tell you what to do. Take this information and use it wisely, because I'm not sugarcoating this. There's no FUD here. I don't really care what you do. I prefer you to make money and not lose it, or be informed rather than not. But like I said from day one, I do this for historical data, and if nobody watches, good. Everybody will know that I tried to tell everybody how to actually make it in this next chapter. And a lot of people think I talk BS, but I actually do what I talk about. So, so the first target here we know is to touch all-time highs. The actual real first target off of this megaphone, 78,609, but you would have to break and hold 73,697 to initiate that signal. Then if you get on top of 78,609, you can do the wider part of the megaphone. And again, in order to validate that and to signal it, you'd have to break and hold 78,578. So you've got two resistance there in order to open up the target to 86. Now, ultimately, if you can get on top of all these, Mo, welcome in. And thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor. George, thank you for tuning in and being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XRP Meteor. I appreciate the support, everybody. I greatly, greatly do. Dwayne, welcome in. He says, hit it, pump it, smash it. Yes, indeed. Can't break it down better than that. So, after that, we've got is where it gets very, very interesting. So, for anybody who doesn't know, when you have a cup and handle, the initial move is one thing. But to get the technical move out of a cup and handle formation, you have to measure the base of the cup, which fortunately I did many months ago. So you measure the base of the cup, and that gives us a target of 115,165. Now, am I saying it's going to happen overnight? Absolutely not. Is it guaranteed to happen? No. And that's why I said it's going to be a rocky road, but we know the resistance areas now. It is one thing to go in blind, but you smell that? It is one thing to have the wisdom so you don't get fucked over and bent over by the market manipulators. If everything goes horribly wrong, you see how easy it is? You get a rejection at 73,697, and then it breaks back through 68K. Oh, you know, it was a fun ride, but you know what? Chances are we're going to have to prepare for a disaster, and it could come down to 46,540. But where it's at right now, nobody, and I mean nobody, should be feeling like, oh my God, we don't have a chance in hell. Oh no, it's quite the opposite. I think the market manipulators don't want anybody to have a chance in hell when it's right out there in front of us. Technical analysis doesn't work, Tom. How can you do technical analysis on a manipulated token, Tom? Well, Tom, you know, it just doesn't work that way. You can't do it because there's a trading bot. You can predict the news if you know the charts. And let's see, do we come down to 51.6? Do we break past 52.8? I don't know. I'm not a wizard. I just put it out in front of you. Oh, I didn't say it was the SEC versus Ripple case. It has pertains. There was no, they actually divided it. It's a separate leg. It's a separate part of the lawsuit. But it pertains to a separate part of this. That's what I said. You know, there's many legs to this. That's why the whole point of me reading it and publicizing it the way I did was so you can see how felonious this whole thing is. It's felonious. They're going to put out a negative headline right before. Oh, you're welcome. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to confuse you. That's probably because of me. But these felonious, you know, they want you to be afraid. But like what I'm seeing in the short-term chart, especially for Bitcoin, doesn't look like I should be afraid. What I'm seeing for XRP, I'm not quite sure that I should be being afraid right now. Like, I'm not sure I should be afraid. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I don't feel like I should be afraid. Like, that doesn't even do it justice. Let's go to the other chart. Like, I don't feel like... I guess that doesn't do it justice either because we need to go to this one. And we need to break down the timeline. What is going on here? Apparently 52.62. Let's see if it goes to 52.62. Did you see all those 52.62s? Yes, thank you. Whoever just said that, I need to read the name. That's exactly it. These are trading moments. And no trade comes without a risk. Remember, no risk, no reward. And where there's a reward, there's always a risk. That's something that I've been saying for so long. Everybody says no risk, no reward, but take it a step farther. No risk, no reward. And where there's a reward, there's always a risk. It's that simple. That's why so many people can never get ahead when they make a few dollars. I was in this trap. My dad could tell you if he's still here. I was in this trap, and my dad had to help me out so much when I was younger because I would always try something, and I could never get it right. I always knew what I wanted to do. I didn't know how to get there. And then I just took a simple, hey, go out and do something you probably shouldn't do, like a labor job, even though you fucked your back up when you were young. But it was the mindset. Just go out and do it no matter what. That's all I needed. That's it. And where there's a reward, there's always a tax. True. Syrian, I love you so much. That is so very true. That is so very true. Oh, yeah, higher the risk, higher the reward. And nobody said there's no risk here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, but that's why I love it. Oh, I love it. I love it. You know how many people told me I was nuts for the precious metals? You know how many people told me I was nuts about these commodities? How many of you are in here who have been making money on commodities with me? That has nothing to do with crypto. Oh, speaking of which, ladies and gentlemen, do you smell what time it is? And no, it's not the sun, but it is Winning Wednesdays. So I am dedicated on Winning Wednesdays by virtue, by death, by kicking the nuts, to have a plan. To simply have a plan. And, oh no relaxation time. No relaxation time. But how many of you are buying VELO? How many of you understand my philosophy of buying $50 a week, $50 a segment? Right now, I've already bought a little bit of VELO, but $50 is all I'm asking you. On Winning Wednesdays, until I say otherwise, and FOMO Fridays, and Temptress Tuesdays, and Motivated Mondays, does anybody see what I see developing? Maybe not. You gotta have foresight here. But is anybody participating in Winning Wednesdays? I'm just curious. I'd like to know if I'm doing this by myself or if there's anybody else who's part of this. Because I'm doing my daily purchase of VELO, and I get a lot of skeptics and a lot of haters. But there's a reason why I'm doing it in an area now, because $50 as I do it, it's not a lot. Okay, but it's going to add up to a lot in a very quick time, but it's going to allow me to buy it. Even if it comes down, it's going to allow me to buy it. If you want to talk where VELO's come from in the bull market of 21, it was up to $2.02. And if you don't think it can do it again, you know, I think this is one that we're going to go through these segments, but there's going to be a lot of things that make you more than the actual main token on their network. And for this one, this happens to be on the Stellar network. So it's going to outdo, I believe, in a bull market, XLM, you know, plus minus wise, as far as Xing your account. So like I told everybody, I'm going deeper this time. It's going deeper than just being in the main ecosystem. It's going through the main token. We're going into the ecosystem this time around. So, and for anybody who's wondering, on this particular one, I'm buying it on HOTCOIN. That's where I'm buying it. I have an account on there. And there's no guarantee that it's ready to break out now. Just for transparency, there is no guarantee. I told myself if it came back down to this part of the rotation, and I was transparent with the audience, if it came back down to the 200-day, that's where I would force myself to make that purchase, and then I could buy it in $50 every purchase. And I didn't put anything extravagant. Even if it went down 30% right now, it's like, it'd be 150 bucks roughly. So, but I would buy it as it comes down, so the average would be following me. So this is how I talk. If this goes down from here, you can only go down so far before you're like, you know. So if it does come down and it starts pulling down to the 0096, the plan would be to pull it all the way down with these $50 buys all the way to the bottom. Or if it comes up here, have these buys before the breakout at 2 cents. Anything above 2 cents, I'm out. I can't buy it anymore. And there's a rule to my reason, and there's a madness to my ruling. So that's just the way it goes. So let me do my purchase on and this is on HOTCOIN, and that's in the video description below and our pinned comments if you need to find a place to buy VELO. A lot of you are familiar with how hard it's been for a very long time. I'm very fortunate that they brought it to the exchange. So, you know, there are reasons for me to be on every exchange I tell you about. I'm I'm manipulative in the market. I manipulate the market into my favor from past mistakes. Oh, and I made a lot of them. So today, I'm going to do $66.44. It'll be worth $4,900. And I don't care about your average. Just accumulate how many you want over time. And then when the time is right, as many as you come up with, then it'll start talking. Right now, your average doesn't mean dick. It only is a starting point, and then if you do it properly on the way down, you can always lower it equally as it comes down in equal components. So, right now I'm going to buy $66 worth. It's going to buy it at, let's see. So the trade went through, let me go to the spot. I think it was, I overset. I think it was like 3,900 and something. I want to see exactly how many it was. So let me go into my spot. So right now, after today's purchase, I have 53,000 VELO. So you guys can do the math and figure out how much that's worth. It's not up to 1,000. It's like just over 700 in value. But the goal here is that I'll be able to buy more on more of a, if it goes up, great, because it kind of looks like there's an inverse setup happening here. But if it comes back down to here, I want it. I want every bit of it, because I'd rather my $50 buys come down and be worth less every time I buy 50 or 60 or whatever the case may be on that given day. That's the plan here. So I encourage you. Oh, wait a minute. It has $13 left. So it wasn't just 3,900. Hold on. I knew something was wrong. I'm like, that's not right. So it's 3,900 plus 787. So 787 more is what it ended up being. Well, that makes sense. I was going to say, like, so let me finish this. Sorry, and we got a lot to talk about, so just please, I apologize that I'm taking a little bit of time, but I want to make sure I do this right every single time. I have a set plan, and I have to make sure I stick to what I have in my head. I'm sure all of you can understand what I mean. Okay. There we go. So it was 4,300 is what it was supposed to be, because now I have 53,395. So it was just over 4,300 purchased today. And it was actually $59 is what I purchased. There's $7 left over. So $7.65 I have left over. So $59 today. So now I have that much. So, sorry, let me move on. We have 96 people, so some of you did not like me talking about winning Wednesdays, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Not everybody's going to be in tune with what I want to do. But after all, it's my portfolio, so I can't tell you what to do. I can only tell you what I'm thinking of doing. That's it. With XRP, no, I have not talked about XRP Healthcare, the Gatman, and thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. I really appreciate it. I'm not giving technical targets out of VELO. The next up is 2 cents. That's all I can say. The next target down is just over 0.0097. So if it plays down, we'll buy $50 as it goes down to 0.0097, or we'll buy up to 2 cents until it breaks it. Other than that, I'm not buying it over that 2 cent resistance. So that's my point. This is the time of opportunity if I'm going to use it for VELO. And if it drops out, I know I'm going to have a great time. Because if I wanted to spend a couple thousand and I only put, 30 to 40% on that in it, well, guess what? That other 60%, even if it drops out, I'm going to substantially lower the price. And I'll have a substantial amount as I work it up and down. So it's a similar philosophy that I'm going to have on BITUNIX when it comes to algo or IOTA. It's just I'm trying to, in my own mind, and IOTX, figure it out at the appropriate spot. So there's different rhymes for different reasons. Somebody asked about XRP Healthcare. Louisville, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. I really, really appreciate that. The Gatman says, you're the man, Tom, always giving the best TA and updates. I try. I just try to tell you everything I know. And since I look at this all day, every day, and not 24/7, but I am very aware of what's going on. This W reversal doesn't need to come all the way down here. Everybody knows if you're part of the XRP healthcare landscape, it's already come down to its proper support right here. That's just in case it fell out and it wanted to come below. But right now, It's already, let me just do this so everybody doesn't like get confused. This is what I should have did from the beginning, and I actually see the error in my way in case somebody was paying attention to this. Because if it comes down and it came up and then it does this, so basically it was more like it came, it went, it comes, and then if it bounces out, it could do something like that. But then you could have had the extension to the down. But here, let me spread this a little bit so it's easier to see. Let's see. What the fuck is this? TradingView always switches where the layout is when they do the updates, and it's rather annoying. All right, let's put this into the, I think the 4 hourly would do it justice. So it came down, bounced up, then if it comes back down and around, but that looks like ass. That looks terrible. But you guys get what I'm saying. I'm no artist here. You get what I'm saying. It's on this descending consolidation. These are typically bullish consolidations. They are. And it appears that from being down here to the true support, there's a very real chance that it could get hot as long as it doesn't fall out. And whoever bought down here could be looking at about a 75% move. And it does this on routine. Remember, what do I always say? What do I always say? Sell resistance, buy support. Sell resistance, buy support. Consolidation, buy support. Sell resistance when it comes up, or sell support when it falls through if you want to buy the next support. So if you break the support structure, then you could actually sell it as well, but you're not supposed to buy it until it's at the support structure. So it's really a dicey situation. So basically, if you bought it here and it fell through, you'd buy it on or sell it on the retest. You wouldn't necessarily sell it right when it falls through. You got to know whenever it breaks down, it's always going to have a retest at some point. Just the way it goes. We all know the fair value gaps. You don't want to mess with those. XRP actually has one at 57.2 or whatever it is still. It just filled the one that was more prominent at 50. What was it? 50, whatever it was when we came up last time when we talked about it. Spot is king. Spot is king. It is. Spot is absolutely king. Bitcoin right now on a whirl of emotions with itself. I mean, that looks like an inverted hammer candle, so we'll see if Bitcoin does absolutely go up now. If it just breaks back through and puts in some kind of, I don't know, it looks kind of dicey here. Because as much as I want to say that it would just break down, it looks like it's trying to put in a sneaker reversal up at the top. Like a big flag here. We'll see. We'll see what Bitcoin's trying to do here. You know, in all honesty here, they really pushed that bearish motive. Why did they switch it so bullish at the end of the... You see how the whole day they had this bearish feeling, and look how in the last 2 hours or so they've tried to flip this and turn it around to where this could actually have a bullish turn of events here to end the day. What exactly is going to happen? I think we have a pretty strong suspicion. I think they're setting you up with some stories here, folks. And I think the market's, well, let's just say we wait for this to play out. We see what happens. And, you know, we see how it goes. So if you are watching this live, as we've been on for 49 minutes, make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this live. I would greatly appreciate that, so that YouTube recommends the content. It would mean a great deal to me. I'm trying to figure this out right now. It's almost, something's weird here. We have a golden cross here in the hourly. We broke bullish in the RSI in the hourly. It's giving a bullish setup here in the last couple hours. Now, can it continue on? That's interesting. The Golden Cross is trying to retake place. If it's trying to recross here at 52.40, I mean, it's basically, if we get a 2-hour man, this is crazy. This is literally, this is the moment. This is the moment. We're right there. This is the moment where if it's going to take control, it takes control here in the next few hours. If not, you know, you could see some big sell orders, but it's given this very red feel, but it's showing anything other than that in the technicals, at least on the appearance here in the last couple hours. Does anybody else see what I'm seeing? I would like to know before I leave. I would love to know before I leave. I'm not leaving yet. I'm just saying. 101 people in here. I feel honored today. I do. It's been a red day, and to see 100, I just feel honored. Thank you all so much. Like, it means a lot. It means a lot to me. I'm a very humble person, and it doesn't take much to make me feel good. And that, like, just seeing everybody here today makes me feel good. But yeah, I mean, that's basically where we stand. That's where we stand. MC Prosperity, welcome in, my friend. That's somebody who's been here so very long, and I'm so blessed to have you in here as well. So glad to have you in here. KG78 says, great daily technical analysis. Thank you so much for that, friend. I appreciate that. So, down, around, almost like it created an inverse head. I don't know, man. I don't know. Very well could be a trap in the shorter time frame, though. We'll see how this carries on, because it doesn't feel right. This just doesn't feel right. So, what I'm going to do... Oh, look, I'm up $17 or $11. I am closing for a $9 profit because it cost me $2 to sell out. I did not do my proper due diligence on that long. So I'm going to take my $8 and reevaluate, because I want to see if there's a lower point, because something don't seem right to me on this candle. It seems like it came down too fast. So I want to make sure that I didn't buy it overzealously and I'm actually in the right spot. And I can't do that if I'm in the position, because then I'm going to say, oh, it's always looking good. Definitely looks like it could have been an overzealous, but it is building what looks like some kind of inverse pattern here. So it might not be overzealous, because you do have a cross here. That's where it's tough. So, if we're going to get a rise, I would like to think XRP would grab liquidity. So I couldn't stay in that position anyhow, because that would have been improper, what I've been trying to teach. When I try to get it on long, so like you see how this is, I would wait for it to retest this, and then I'd have it at 51.77. Like that's, I think that's what I should be looking at. That's what my heart's telling me. Or you wait for it to pop up, but see, that's a big, it's not even that big of a move though. See, that's, you wait for it to get on top of 52.72 and hold that, or come down to the support. Now, does it make sense is the question. Does it make sense? No. That's where I'm struggling. With that setup, it doesn't make sense to come down. Lord, help me. Lord Jesus, help me. Because these are where I struggle. Do I just go in and, well, I made $8. Hell, if I make $8 every time after the fees, whatever, right? But it's just not a bad, it's a bad habit. I don't like to buy and sell, to buy to sell. But I like to have the best opportunity too. 3 hourly, that everything's 4 hourly looks like a nice reversal. I mean, daily time frame is where it worries me. I'll be honest. Because the next daily candle is going to look like shit if it opens from here. I'm just telling you right now. That's where I'm struggling at. With that daily candle, it's like it's saying, Tom, You know how dangerous it is to buy a position right before the end of a close? That's what I'm thinking, KG. It would be Thursday. I absolutely agree with you. That's why I decided to take a step back here and take my $8 and be happy about it. Because we do have Bitcoin. Man, it's so fucking tough though. And we know Tether printed money. I know somebody else talked about it. So Bitcoin's on a massive... I mean, look how big that W is. Unless that gets reversed. Because it could be a Batman top too, and it could pull the support. I love crypto. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. There's just so much. There's so much to it. It's unbelievable. It's awesome. A little bit of an opportunity today. Precious metals did pull back a little bit. Gold was up 12 bucks. Silver was down almost 2%. We're about to have a grand... Let me just tell you, if Harris gets elected in the USA, gold and silver is going to go berserk. It is going to go absolutely berserk. It's going to go berserk. It's going to go berserk either way, but it's going to go berserk quicker if Harris got elected. If Trump gets elected, you'll have some... But it's going to go berserk still. From my own personal standpoint, outside of all the nonsense we're going to have to deal with, I would probably make more money on the onset if Harris got elected, only because of how I believe in precious metals and commodities and things like that. But when it comes to like taxes and our way of living, it's going to suck. If Trump gets elected, I know things are going to cost a little bit more, but my taxes are inevitably going to go down. And I'm just going to have to pay more for tariffs on my products because, you know, the consumer is going to pay for those price increases, not, you know, China. And it's our own fault because we import everything. We don't export shit anymore. So, you know, you got to pay the piper. So, that's where I stand, everybody. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. I appreciate everybody taking time listening to me. If you do appreciate my work, consider at times to pay it forward. Send a YouTube super chat, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. You can send it through YouTube. You can join Tom's Army. Simply hit the like button, would be very appreciated. We got 146 likes today. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Thank you all so much for that. That's a lot of likes today. And it allowed people to get in here. You see how people got in here all day? Over 100 people through this whole live. So just be very defensive here. But understand, we're going to have an opportunity here. We're going to have an opportunity here going into the escrow dump. And I'll be back on before you know it. So... And this could be the opportunity right now because of that camp. We'll just see. I'll keep updating everybody as we go through the day.